Galactic gossip, what's your sign? Listen up for the cosmic line. Star sign shenanigans, they're on a roll. You'll be laughing and learning, feeling the zodiac glow.
Today's Scorpio horoscope is this. You are entering an incredibly positive period, Scorpio. There is a special emphasis on enjoying yourself as Mars enters your fifth house of happiness, touching down there for the first time in 2 years. This cycle is all about expressing yourself, whether that means letting your artistic side out to play or spending more time with people who bring out the best in you. Work won't completely evaporate. Still, if possible, consider taking a few days off to appreciate this energy.
Wow,
That's
it's
actually
almost like we've talked about taking a few days off.
That is so funny because we have talked about taking a few days off, and I'm taking a day off next week just because I'm like, I need to take a day off. And then I feel like the artistic stuff is accurate because I feel like I've gotten like so deep into this podcast, like making the art for Instagram and YouTube and posting it to everywhere and making all these clips, and I've like thrown myself so much into it. So I guess that's kind of like artistic side a little bit.
One thing about Danielle and I, we are so bad at taking our vacation. I don't know, it makes me so uncomfortable. I don't know why. We both are at jobs now that have basically unlimited vacation, which they say unlimited vacation does this to people where they take
Yeah.
less vacation because they're like, oh, I don't have 2-3 weeks that I need to use up by the end of the year. I can just use whatever. So I feel so uncomfortable anytime I take a vacation day. I don't know why. It is very weird. So if we take away one thing from this, it is that we're going to take some days off.
Well, I think for me, it stems for a lot of things. I've talked about it before. I feel like I was always so on it in school and in like jobs and stuff to the point that I probably went too hard and have burnt myself out in other areas in my life. But we also have come from jobs, or, I have for sure. And I know you did because you were at the last job with me, where like there was a cap on the days. And so like, I was always like, I
Yeah.
need to at least save most of mine till the last 6 months of the year. Cause if something really comes up or happens, like that's where I'm gonna have to use them. And like, it was always that mentality. And now we have like unlimited vacation. And what you said is true because my boss, like I've only been at my new job for a handful of months, and my new boss was like, hey, don't forget to take some days off. And I was like, oh, like, I'm just someone who like the first year at a new job, like has to be on it, like has to like be there. He's like, I know. And he's like, people are like that. He's like, that's why you should take them. And he said the same thing. He goes, they say people with unlimited actually take less because you're not in this mindset of like, oh, I need to use this up by the end of the year. So it's easier to let it
Right.
get away from you. So definitely something as I'm getting older, I'm trying to like establish some boundaries and like things that I need to be doing it's not wrong or bad to do. And it's nice being in a place that encourages it as well, because I think that helps make, us feel less bad when they're like encouraging that. So
I
yeah.
agree. I think it's going to be very hard for me to get out of the mindset that, okay, Christmas is at the end of the year. I have 2 weeks of vacation. I know I'm going to want to take 1 week off at the end of the year for Christmas. And then these holidays, I need to take off for these days. It's so crazy to think that we only had like 1 to 2 weeks of vacation. And now it's like we have unlimited, and I don't want to use it. I don't know why. So
Well, to that
I need to
point,
get it together.
we're at jobs where we also have just some more holiday time, as well as getting the week off at the end of the year before the holidays or around the holidays. So it's like where that vacation was being used to like the holiday time and the end of the year, we already just get that time off. So for me, I'm like, I'm already getting like the amount of vacation I had before here just in holidays time here, right?
Exactly.
And so now it's like
Exactly.
getting that and then being able to use vacation on top of it. It makes it kind of harder as well, because now you don't have to think about that. I mean, you could still pair it with the end of the year, but we get a lot of extra time off at the end of the year just because it's already built into the company's holiday time. So yeah.
Right. And that just reminded me, this is one of my 2024 ins and outs / goals, is to use my vacation days. So
Yeah.
this is a good reminder.
Because you need to use one so you can come visit and then we can go get a massage, because that's what I've been wanting
Yes.
to do.
Yes, yes. Well, I love how that was positive energy, because I
Yeah.
feel like the first couple things that we're going to talk about today are not positive energy. Here we go with the thumbs again.
See, it's
Here
not
we go.
positive energy. And
Not
that's,
positive.
I can't ever get this one. It's so weird. It's always a thumbs up that's so easy to go off. But anyway, not a thumbs up moment.
No. So, we've all been like, where the heck is Kate Middleton? Oopsies. Video comes out today. Hi, I'm Kate Middleton. So sorry I've been gone. I have cancer. Appreciate you all and your kindness and concern, but like, let's dial it back because I'm going through some shit. And I feel like everyone as a collective whole is like, oh, oopsies. So sorry. We just dove through so many conspiracy theories of you getting cheated on, you're getting a divorce, you have a colostomy bag,
You're already dead. I saw someone
you're
on TikTok. I
dead.
sent it to you. They're like, I just don't believe Kate's here with us anymore. It's like, what is making you believe that?
Yes.
Not
So,
everything is a big conspiracy theory. I don't think they did themselves favors by the way they've handled it, by like,
right.
it seems like they've had some like fake Kate sightings. Not saying that some of them weren't true, but some of them seem fake. That AI, clearly AI or very altered photo. There's just been a lot of things they haven't handled well, but it's also not
Right.
our business to know it. And what she kind of said in that video today, like we have young kids, like we have a young family. We have to consider like bigger picture type stuff here. And it's sad she had to come out on a video and do this, but I feel like that was the only way to get people to believe it, because I feel like a statement wouldn't have been enough. People are like, we need a video of Kate. But again,
Right.
part of that is I don't feel like they handled this well either. Like there's some
Absolutely
things they
not.
could have not did that they did.
Right, right. Like, okay, let's release, everybody's concerned about Kate Middleton. Let's release clearly doctored photos and say, oh, she's okay. Here's this picture. Thinking that people aren't going to like be zooming in and be like, oh my gosh, that's not her. Where's the ring? Why does only one shoe have a heel?
Why do
The
their
height's
fingers look
different.
like weird?
Right,
And their
right.
faces,
So,
I don't know if it was just a really altered photo, if it's straight up just AI. I saw something on the internet where they did like a scan and it was like 71% altered. So it was altered a lot. But even their faces just feel so AI, all the kids. They all had like the same
yeah.
face going on. I don't know. It was strange.
They definitely didn't do themselves any favors. And we were talking about this before we started recording and comparing it to the King Charles situation where they released that and nobody was concerned before, like, oh, where is King Charles? Because they just released the information. And with Kate, I think with them having her, I don't think she's been seen since, what was it, December or January was the last time she had been seen. So I get it, you need your privacy, but I also understand that their whole, what is it, a monarchy? Like their whole government system, like, is this monarchy family. So I feel like to the US, that would be like the president or like not being out or seen. And we're just getting sketchy photos that are clearly doctored. Like, I think everybody would naturally be like, oh my God, what's wrong? He's dead. What's happening?
So I was thinking like maybe they should have released a statement, but it's like they kind of did. They were like, hey, she had a surgery. She's not going to be seen at least until Easter. And I think they probably wanted to do that so they could have the privacy and deal with it. And then they could come out and release a statement because they don't owe a statement. They did release a statement, but people were like, it's crazy that everyone was like, we don't really like this and investigated to the point that this happened. Because it's like they kind of did release a statement, but everybody's so nosy as well. The internet.
I know. Well, I'm still low key like, is this actually happening? Is this a conspiracy? Because when I think about it, I'm just, yes, they just have treated this situation so weird. And then there was like this whole announcement that the royal family, what was it, Wednesday at the latest? I don't know if you got these TikToks, but everybody was like, they told the people, the reporters, to be on hold because they're going to announce this juicy information, and they were supposed to announce it by like Wednesday or something.
I don't
Like,
recall, but honestly, I've got brain rot because there's so much going on. So I don't know, but I don't remember it.
well, it was like supposed to be some breaking news that they were supposed to announce, and they had all the reporters on standby, and then nothing came, and then this video comes out today. So it's like,
Hmm.
is there a conspiracy? I'm like, what if something is really happening and like she really wants to get a divorce or something, and they were like, they're, I don't know. Like my brain is going in so many different directions, and it shouldn't because I doubt this is a lie, but I
It's
don't know.
such a
It's just
serious
because they
thing to
how they
lie
handled
about.
it.
I think that
Yes,
that's the
yeah.
problem is like I think things could have been handled better. And I think if they would have just to the point that people were being so intrusive, they should have just came out and said something at that point. It would have got everyone off their back. And I think people hearing that are like, okay. Because like everything
Right.
I've seen is like, oh my gosh, hopefully people leave her alone now type of deal.
Right.
And so,
Right.
and kind of brings me to a couple other points. Like, I don't know if you've seen Scott Disick recently. Like, he's not looking great. And a couple
Looking
months,
very ill.
yeah, like something's wrong. Like, this isn't to be speculating on him. I'm genuinely concerned. Um, I know, like I guess he had like a car wreck a year or so ago, and he had like gained some weight. And I saw some pictures a
Hmm.
couple months ago where he looked a lot skinnier, and I was like, I'm surprised people aren't really commenting on this, but maybe it wasn't to the point that it like other people noticed it. And then in the last few days, I've gotten some TikToks where people are now starting to see it because there's times he's wearing his glasses at night or in a building, and when he doesn't have glasses on, his eyes they're like brown here, and so
Yeah.
people are speculating: is it Ozempic? Is it an illness? Drugs? Like something like it's not healthy, whatever it is. However, it reminds me of like it kind of like this relates to Kate, and it also reminds me of like the Chadwick Bostwick from Black Panther, where he looked really sick and frail and ill, and people were commenting and making speculations and saying terrible things, and then he died, and they're like, "Oh, he had cancer," and then everyone felt like garbage afterwards because like you never know what people are going through, and I've
Right.
seen that kind of on some of the Scott TikToks where like, did we not learn anything from that? And even the Kate thing, it's like, are we not learning anything from these past situations that maybe they're actually just as serious things going on and like they're just not talking about it because they don't have to, you know? And so
Right.
I don't know. I hope Scott's okay. It is a little concerning. I feel like there's like something isn't right there, and kind of the same as Kate, you know, just you hope that they're getting the help that they need.
I know, and it could honestly be so many things with him just because of his history, like his
Mm-hmm.
mental health stuff, and
Exactly.
yeah, so it could just be so many things, and hopefully it is just Ozempic that took off a little bit too much weight, but he does like his face, he just looks like skeletal, like
Yeah.
skin and bones.
And that's what people are saying. They're like, this doesn't feel like Ozempic because of like how that looks. But I will say Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne's wife, she took Ozempic and she lost too much, and her face doesn't look super great either. Like kind of like that, but not to like even his extreme. And she's like, now I feel like
Hmm.
I just can't keep weight on. Like it like affected her. And
Really?
so I'm not saying it couldn't be that, but he just doesn't look good either way. So I don't know. It was just very shocking to see him looking like that, like so suddenly, because I think it was like 6 or 8 months ago. People were like, this is how he looked 6 or 8 months ago, and this is how he looks now. So it's been very
Hmm.
sudden as well. So I don't know. I think just like all of this is the point of like, maybe we all need to calm down. Maybe a TikTok ban wouldn't be the worst thing to happen because we seem like we're like see something on the internet and it's very parasocial. Like we know these people, and I know Kate Middleton is not with us anymore. Like that person's comment, I'm like, you've got to be joking. Like we don't know anything about these people. Like calm down.
I know. And my door just randomly opened. It's a ghost. Um, and that just made me lose my train of thought. We don't know these people.
Yeah, so just maybe we should just put our phones down, go touch some grass, sniff some air, and like it's okay. Like we're not experts on everything, having to have opinions on everything all the time. And like I get so into the conspiracy thing too. This Kate thing's
It's
been
hard
very
not to.
interesting, but not to the point of like I'm commenting on everything. Like I know Kate is not with us anymore. It's like okay.
Oh, yes, that reminds me. People are like, I feel like they're doing her like they did Princess Diana.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, maybe this is taking it a bit too far. Like,
Yeah.
are we really comparing the two situations?
Exactly.
If people they just love a good conspiracy theory. And I
Yes.
too love a good conspiracy
And
theory.
I will say again, like we've said a lot now, the way they handled it wasn't helpful to those people that feel that way. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, our local weatherman, no longer Danielle's local weatherman, but my local weatherman, posted a TikTok today about the flat earth. And I didn't even watch his TikTok video. I just ran straight to the comments. And the caption was, finally got the flat earth question. So I'm assuming somebody asked our local meteorologist if he believes in the flat earth or what he thinks. And I was just like strolling through the comments, and there's some really funny ones. Like there's some that are like flat earth solar eclipse, and it's like the moon, and the moon's like orange, and there's just like one flat like chunk of shadow across the moon because it's like flat earth.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's funny. But this guy, he commented, and I'm just gonna read it because it made me laugh out loud. He said, well, you all can scoff and laugh, but the earth is not a globe. There is a dome over us, and the earth does not move. Research it. I like Doug, the local weatherman, but he's misinformed and wrong. The earth is flat. This, not a conspiracy theory. I'm not sure I'll be attacked, but I don't give a crap. Like I said, research it. I'm not going to respond to everyone's questions. 3, 2, 1. Go be Karens.
Go be.
First of all, I don't understand how people can think that the earth is flat. And I just checked, he hasn't responded to anybody questioning him. But I don't understand how people can see pictures from space, taken from space, of the earth round, of the moon round, the sun round, everything's round, and just be like, that is flat. That's not a globe. I don't get it.
And also, it's like, why is the debate so necessary? I don't know. I'm not into science. I'm like, why? I don't know. Like, why is this something we're still focusing on? Why are we still fighting this? Why do we still have these thoughts? Like,
it's like people have literally flown around the world. They have ridden boats around the world. Like, what happens if we get to the edge of the rectangle? Like, what happens if it's not a globe?
I don't know. I mean, he's the one to ask. You should respond and be like, tell me more. I don't know enough about this flat earth you speak of. I've always thought it like, you just like, feed into it. Be like, this comment has convinced me. I need more information.
I just researched it, Jeff. Just researched it, Jeff. I am now a flat earther. Like, Google, Wikipedia told me everything I needed to know. Somebody else commented, are you kidding? You said there's no proof of the ice wall? Have you never looked it up? Look at all the space agencies that posted it. And it's just like a glacier. Like, do people think the Earth stops at an ice glacier?
I feel like Doug was bored. The weather hasn't been really weathering the way he wants to, so he wanted to start some shit, is what I think. And I think he is like entertained because it's like you're gonna get these people that say things like this. Like,
right.
I remember last year he said something about global warming without saying global warming, and he just was like, "It's science that it's getting warmer, guys." Like, it just
I remember
is.
that.
And people are like, and he's like, it just is. So it's like,
he's very much too. You guys obviously don't know our local weatherman, but I think he likes the attention.
Oh,
like,
he does.
He made a Facebook post the other day, and he does these charts and he does YouTube videos. I love it. Thank you so much. Keep doing it. It calms my doesn't calm, but it helps with my storm anxiety. But he made this video and he made the what's it called when your YouTube video thumbnail, the thumbnail picture was
I know what you're talking about.
red in our area and then yellow and green, and I'm like, oh my God, red, like we're gonna have tornadoes tomorrow. What the hell? I click on the video. We're not in the red. The red starts all the way up here, and here we are, and then the red moves down here, and he literally made the thumbnail where the red was right there, so people would click on the video and watch it. And I'm like, Doug, what are we doing here?
I saw this the other day, and so I clicked on it because I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because I was like, the weather was worse where I was that day than it was there, so what is this? And so then I click on it, and literally someone in the comments on YouTube were like, why is it showing red in our area? And I felt like that's I just felt like it was a little fear-mongering of him to do that.
Exactly.
He's normally, he'll do it a little bit sometimes when I think he wants attention, but like usually not like that. So again, I think he's bored. And I used to work at Walmart many, many years ago, and he would like come in on stormy days and we would just talk about like he's doing this on purpose. He wants people to stop him and be like, the weather outside right now. Like it was so obvious. So good old Doug, but he is, everybody loves him. Oh, and then another time a few years ago, for you, it was probably like 4 or 5 years ago now, it was like major storms, like tornadoes and stuff. And then the next day he makes a video, he turns it on, has whiskey right here, and then he's like, oh, and pushes it away. It's like, you knew that was in your frame when you started it. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, long night of storm watching. Let me get my alcohol out of the way.
So funny. But, you know, he wants the attention, but people give it to him. They hype him up. Like, he can't do anything wrong. So.
He's got, let's just see how many people he's up to.
It's
107,000 followers. And
I
we live,
recently.
well, I live, I forget you are no longer in the same area.
I still
it's
consider
not,
it.
yeah, we don't live in a big area, like rural neck of the woods. And he is hot shit, and I will tell you, I love myself, Doug.
That's the appropriate time for the thumbs up. Well, the thing is, he's been around for so long. Like, he has been around for over 20 years. I remember being like 8 years old, and he was the meteorologist. So you are going to get a big like audience when you were like consistently around like that. So like he definitely feels like hot shit. He knows he is. Okay.
This is my theory on why, because Doug, he's not ugly. He's a good looking man, but there's this theory that like firefighters, like EMTs, people in those life-saving positions, like if somebody saves your life, you think that they're like, you're attracted to them for some reason.
Yeah.
It's a theory, and I think that is why with our local meteorologist, I just feel this weird like attraction, because he tells me when there's a tornado, and he tells me when I need to seek shelter, and I feel like he's like saving me in a weird way. But I know I'm not the only one, because I know so many people in the area feel the same way about our local meteorologist.
People make memes
that
and
inflates
stuff
his head more.
Yeah,
yes.
like
yes.
people make memes and they're like, I was gonna say something inappropriate, but you know what I mean. But honestly, moving to a new area has been very tough, because I'm trying to find like weather pages around here, people that are big around here, someone I can trust. I did find a meteorologist I really like, and I think he's kind of like the Doug of this area, but not to that extreme. He has like half the amount of followers, but you can tell like he's well liked, even on like my work's like Slack and stuff during the storm we had a little bit ago. People are referring to this meteorologist. I'm like, okay, so this is the guy I need to be following. Good, I found him. And he, and what I like about him is he goes live like all the time. He was live the night before, he was live the day of, and he does not fear monger. He's very realistic. And even the night before, we had like a really bad tornado in the town that we're from. And a long time ago, and people were even like, does this have the same ingredients as that storm? He's like, no, I don't think that it does. And he's like, I don't really see it being a tornado, but it has chances. Like, and even the next day, he's like, they're saying there's chances. He's like, I still don't see it. Like, he was very just to the point, honest, seemed like a really nice guy. And I like finding a good weatherman like that, because some of them definitely fearmonger. And I do not like that, especially when we've been, again, in an area where it's common to have tornadoes. And I'm in an area where it's not as common, but I feel like the severe weather is not worse around here at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of scary going somewhere new. So wish Doug was here, but yeah, no.
That's honestly something that I've thought about. I'm like, if I ever move out of this area, like, how am I going to find a weatherman? Because I've got to be able to trust him. He's got to have the same tornado, not fear, but tornado awareness as Doug. Because I feel like when the Joplin tornado happened, everybody was like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. And then it happened, and it was horrendous and horrible and so deadly. And now it's like there always has to be a low chance of tornadoes on the radar, like on the little map that he does. Tornado is always low when there's a chance of storms, even if there's like 1% chance of tornadoes.
Yeah.
I feel like that he just has to put it on there because of playing it down before. And I don't like that. It's like, okay, that makes me anxious when it says low. Like, just leave it off.
Whenever they say low, but it's like, we really don't see it happening, I'm kind of like, okay, well then I'm not going to account for that. I mean, I still want to be prepared, but storms and stuff don't bother me. It's when like the environment is unstable and I can feel it being unstable, and then they're like, oh, it's kind of getting high now. It's a medium to high. Then it's a little more scary for me because of what you just said. Like, I feel like he does have to just put it out there to cover himself, like cover bases, because of, that happening in the past. But I would say moving here, the first thing I did was follow all the news pages, pay attention to like the meteorologists that they share on their pages. And I just started liking and following everything because I was like, I need to be weather aware.
Weather aware. Yeah. I lost my list.
Had such a positive horoscope, and then we're over here talking about Kate and Scott and tornadoes.
Sickness, tornadoes.
Sorry, guys, trigger warning.
All the things. Well, I guess the last thing we can talk about could be a lighter note. I was scrolling Facebook today because I wasn't too motivated to work today, and I came across this post, and I'm just like, what the hell? And it's probably clickbait, and I clicked it. It said, married couple who had been waiting for children for years didn't know they had to make love first. And I'm like, ain't no way this is real. Ain't no way. So I click on it. And let me scroll past the ads and just read some snippets. A nurse revealed that one couple who had been waiting for years to have children did not realize they needed to have sex first to conceive. So she's a nurse, a health visitor, whatever that means, and a midwife for over 40 years, and she was sharing just some bizarre stories she had learned over the years, which makes me believe this story. And she was in an interview, and she said that this couple had been married for several years, but children hadn't come along. And they deduced that they didn't know how to make babies. And so it was this nurse's job to ensure that they did. And I'm like, good Lord. And it says, they genuinely thought babies arrived as a result of simply being married and had no clue. Teaching someone about sex is quite a responsibility, but within a couple of visits, the pair couldn't keep their hands off of each other. I'm disturbed. Like, how does this happen? First of all, do you have access to internet? And if you don't, do you talk to people? How does this happen where two people both have no idea what sex is? comes
They
together.
they
How
really
does that
found one
happen?
another. They were meant to be because they both believed that, and so I'm glad that they found each other. Except a bummer. Honestly, I think I heard about the story. I think it's a couple years old, and if not, then it's a very similar story, which means there's more out there. But I think I read that where they just didn't realize. So it's like, were they just sheltered growing up? Like, did they live in like a really small community? It was very sheltered, and they're just never it wasn't talked about in school or your friends or your family. Like, just there's some
Exactly.
weird towns out there, very culty. So
I cannot fathom. And people were commenting like, it's true, I work in social services. Some people with LDs, I don't know what that is, get married and know nothing about sex.
it's
How
wild.
the hell does that happen?
I
Yeah,
re-
I was like, this is obviously clickbait, but I am clicking on it because this is the craziest thing I've seen.
I am in hook, line, and sinker to this. I remember quite literally being 10 and having a conversation with my cousin who was also 10 or 11. And I just remember her saying like, like you have, like, you don't just get married and have babies. I was like, I think that you can just, like, I kind of thought that. I was like, I think you can just, like, decide you want a baby and then you just have one.
Order one.
Because I was young and was like, I kind of knew, but I was like, didn't want to think about that. I'm like, no, that's not what my parents did.
I don't know like how I figured out. I know in fifth grade, like we had to take a health class, but I honestly, there's like not a moment where I just like remember being like learning about it.
I feel
So
like
I don't know.
I feel like I knew a lot of things at a very young age. By young, I mean probably quite literally 7, 8 years old because I was the youngest of 4 kids, watched a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to. And I think I just learned things differently and younger, but I wanted to not believe they were true. So I was just like,
Hmm.
no, there's other ways. Cause I just didn't want to believe that was the way, even though I knew it was the way. And then, as
Hmm.
you get older, you're like, okay. But I mean, I was also 10 and it's hard to judge these people because again, it's like we don't know what's
I
going on in
know.
their life. Like that seems crazy they wouldn't know that or like it's wild it took that long for a nurse to be like, "You do understand."
It
Or like that they
is
didn't start googling before they went to a doctor.
right,
And
right.
surely you would
Like
have saw something on the internet.
I just can't picture a society or a town or a country where people are so sheltered to that point. Like, I feel like that is just human nature to know how that works.
It seems wild, but then I remember we had an old boss who passed away and he was telling us all these stories from his childhood and how like there was literally a curfew on the town and like they weren't allowed to dance and stuff like that. And I'm like, is this like
Is this,
footloose? You were
yeah, I was about to
literally living
say,
footloose and like that's a thing somewhere. So it sounds crazy, but it it really could be possible that they're in like a
I
really sheltered community.
I believe it's possible, but it's like hard for my brain to fathom
It is
that.
weird. It's weird because it's so exposed, and we're so exposed to just literally everything. Like why we were able to see Drake more of that than I would like to on just Twitter at 7 a.m. one day. Um, not to like but I got a TikTok last night of Drake at his concert. I don't know if you've seen this. And some
Uh-uh.
girl was in the pit with a sign and she's like 5 months pregnant. She's like, Drake, will you be my baby daddy or whatever? And he calls her out and goes, okay. He goes, why don't we move you to VIP? Because this isn't safe for you to be in the pit. So moved her to VIP. He goes, and I'm going to give you $25,000. And
Oh
someone,
my God.
yes, and someone in the comments were like, that was an investment to go to that concert. Like he put her in VIP, he's giving her
Literally.
$25,000. And I was talking to someone I work with today because he messaged me like, "Yo, did you see like Future? Who is it? Who had a new album out today? Future, was it Future and
I have no idea.
Metro Boomin? I don't know. There was like a new album and Kendrick Lamar had a verse on one of them and like dissed Drake.
Hmm.
Apparently, he was like messaging me about it. So then I was like, I haven't heard it yet. I was like, like I saw this TikTok last night. He said that he heard Drake paid for like a nurse's vacation or schooling or something at another concert. I'm like, does Drake just go to all of his concerts and select one random person to do something like super nice for? I'm like, how cool is that? Didn't know that about him.
If that's the case, I need to go to a Drake concert and make a sign.
I know. The baby thing is now taken. So
Do
something
not,
else.
I would not, I'm not that desperate. I am not that desperate to have another kid to get $25,000 at Drake's
but
concert.
like if he did something for a nurse at another, then he could do something for you, but it's got to be
Project manager here. Project manager.
I need a new couch, Drake.
Literally. My dog bought a dead squirrel in on my couch. I need a new one.
Do you still have the video to that?
I do. I think I saved it.
I really hope you do, and I want to honestly post it on our TikTok and YouTube and stuff, because when you sent that to me, I was like traumatized, and I'm like,
horrified.
why is there a squirrel on your couch?
Horrified. I tell you, I got a Walmart sack because I didn't have any plastic gloves, and so I got a Walmart sack to like pick it up. Oh, it was so heavy. I'm like, I cannot do this. And I was just trying to pick it up to scoop it into the bag, but like I touched something sharp and pointy, and I'm like,
Oh
I
my
can't. So thankfully there was a blanket on the couch, so I could just like pick up the blanket and just throw it outside. But I need a new couch. GoFundMe, new couch.
Drake. Hey,
GoFundMe, linked in the comments.
At Drake. DMs. Slide into his DMs.
Literally.
Hey there.
Hey, it's me. I know you don't know me, but I'm a podcaster for Star Sign Shenanigans.
Oh my gosh, speaking of our new AI theme songs.
Yes. I wish we could play them on here somehow, but
I might be able to put it in here. Or maybe we could put it at the beginning and that could be our intro for this episode. So I was watching, there's a handful of podcasters I like to watch. So I like to watch like Hassan, and which also, side note, I had like a thing to talk about is how I updated my elevator list, which I might be able to access it on here. I can't access it on my phone right now, but I really limited down to 5. I'm like, you know what? These other people, I don't need it. I just need 5. But I think Hassan's on there twice because Hassan did like an emo thing, and like there's these like emo guys right now. Like one's Jake Weber, and then there's this other guy. They're like young and they're like into the emo scene, and they're going to all these streamers or like famous YouTubers, and they're like doing their emo makeup and stuff. So they did it with Hassan, and he looks so freaking good. And they just like, as he's doing it, they have like Jimmy Eat World and like Panic at the Disco playing in the background. I'll have to send you some of like the TikToks, because then they did like TikToks with him, and they did that song like Merrily We Fall Out of Line. They got really popular on TikTok as a sound, and he's like doesn't know any of the words, and it's like so ridiculous, and they're cracking up, but he looks so good punk, and I'm like, I am into this right now.
You have normal Hassan and emo Hassan.
Yeah, 2 separate Hassans. I get 2 shots of this, which he'll never be emo probably again, even though I thought it looked really good. I'll have to send it to you. But
you should.
Anyway, what was my point leading into that? Elevator list. Oh yeah, the song thing. So I was watching the song, and he has a weekly podcast called Fear Ann with a girl named Cutie Cinderella, an Austin Show, and Will Neff. And anyway, Will Neff had like a stream, so I get the stuff on YouTube, and it was like some like making their own AI song. He's like, we're gonna make an AI song. He's like, but I'm actually gonna like have someone I know like record it and actually like release it as their own or whatever. So it's not just like AI, but like we're gonna have some fun with this. I'm sorry, I'm dying. My TV right now on the screensaver's like, stay informed, severe weather coverage. So
no,
save that for later. Anyway, so I was using the app that they did. And so I made some for, like, I wasn't doing it right. You only get so many credits. So I was able to make like maybe 5, because I think you can make 5 songs. It'll make 2 versions of each song, but you can put the genre, and it'll generate lyrics and like all these different things. So I tried to make one for myself. So like I have one that's like, Danielle, be so uplifting and all these things, but they did it for themselves. And it's funny because they're famous. So the AI actually said some of their like things that they do. So like for me, it's pretty
Uh-huh.
generic because I'm sure there's other Danielle McCollums in the world. But I was like,
Right.
let's do one for star sign shenanigans. So I made a couple, but there was one. There's a guy version and a girl version, and I liked both of them. It was the same lyrics and everything. I think just a little
Uh-huh.
sounding different. But there was one at the Galactic Gossip was a line that I actually really liked.
They were low key good.
I
Like the
know.
words that they were saying were actually, I'm like, wow. Now the music itself and like them singing it wasn't the
Yeah,
best,
it was
but I was
good.
like, these are really good
Yeah.
lyrics, actually.
It was like the last 20 seconds of the girl one, the way it like sped up or something, it actually sounded decent. But yeah, like the way they were singing it wasn't great. But I need to see if I can find any other like free AI music things if there's so
hmm
many credits and just like test them out. But yeah, I might put it into this episode because I thought it was
Yeah.
so funny.
Insert clip here.
Yeah. Our new theme song.
Well, I'm out of topics, so I guess we're on to our good old show-stopping tarot card reading.
Yes.
Today we got justice. You may be dealing with people who feel inferior or weaker than you, so take care to not run over anyone. Equally, they do not have to serve as an excuse for you to go slower or do less than you know is necessary. Be firm, but not too firm. Determined, but not too determined. Get a lot of work done. I feel like this tells us to pretty much do nothing.
That I was literally getting ready to say that they're like, be strong, but not too strong. Do this, but not too much. It's like, so just continue on living my life.
Yes, so that's how I'm going to take this. I'm going to take yours as taking vacation days off, and I'm going to take this as doing literally nothing different because I feel like that's what it just told me to do.
Yeah, I really can't resonate with that because I don't
No.
know what we were. It's so funny how sometimes they're so vague. Like, and I get when people are like, astrology is so vague and stuff, but sometimes like
They tell
it's
you to
so
buy a
on
house.
point. Like yours was literally
Yeah.
like if you're on the fence about buying a house and you were on the fence about like actually signing the printed whatever that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really relevant. But yeah, that tarot wasn't great. Could have been
No.
better. We need to actually get our own deck.
I've thought about it, but then
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, how do I just pick up a card and be like, okay, ladies, here's what we got. We got death.
Well,
That means, like, I need it to have a little blurb on the back that tells me what to say.
or like maybe before, like do the With Tarot YouTube one or something, and that could be, and then you have all the different options to pick, and we don't have to think of anything, just like get to it. Or like there are so many fun tarot decks that like then you would never run out of different things. Maybe they have instructions that tell you what things mean, but just make it up.
I get, here's my tarots and here's my crystals and here we go.
Yeah. All
Well,
right.
I can't end it with confetti, so that's gonna have to be Danielle. I don't know why it does. Balloons!
I don't ever understand. Do you have to do both to get the confetti?
Well, I
Because didn't
literally,
I do both last time? Okay.
yeah,
So you do
I don't,
two, you get confetti. You do one, you get balloons, apparently. There's so many out there.
well, it's nothing for me, so I don't know why.
It's funny because I've been, working from home this week, and I like sat in a different spot than I normally like to. So I wanted my background kind of hidden, and I did like the blur thing, but my lamp was randomly just the circle part of the lamp would randomly pop in, and so it was like freaking people out, and it was honestly freaking me out because I'm like, is this a thing? Is this balloons going off? So now I wonder, like, is that going to make something go off? So then I just changed it to like a apartment building background.
Oh my gosh.
But now I'm scared because like you just do anything and things start going off.
Right. On a client call, something serious happening. Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Yeah, like
confetti. I do not want to sign this. Confetti.
All the layoffs happening in the world, and it's like confetti coming down, balloons, like on like remote calls. Okay.
All right. Well, have a good week because this is going to air on a Monday. So I hope your week is galactical.
Yep. Galactic Gossip, our new podcast. We are rebranding. We are Galactic Gossip.
Galactic Gossip Gals.
Honestly, I would have heard that before Star Sign Shenanigans. I may have went with it because it's kind of fun.
I know. Galactic Gals. Galactic Gossip Gals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like Gossip Girl.
It does. We really miss out.
I know. All right. Bye.
Toodles.
Stars like shenanigans, they're out of this world. Lost in the zodiac like a map, the cosmic tea. It's gonna be a world.